We did not have one in December. And thank you everyone for coming. I apologize if I turn off my mic quite quickly. We have a mobile grooming lady coming and the dogs will be more than excited to see her. So just to keep that barking down. So welcome. Calling to order at 7:03. Next slide, please. We acknowledge and are grateful that the work of DPAC and our PACs takes place on the traditional and unceded territories of the Hakenamin-speaking people of the Katzie First Nation and Kwantlen First Nation. We also recognize all our First Nations, Métis, Inuit students and their families in our social communities. We also want to acknowledge the generational harm and tragedies caused to our Indigenous communities throughout the history of residential schools. We do have resources available for those looking for them for Indigenous reconciliation. Okay, we're going to go ahead and adopt the agenda as shown. Can I have someone move we adopt the agenda? First, Garibaldi, second, Katie. Any discussion? Okay, pop the poll. All in favor of adopting the agenda? And this is for our DPAC reps only to participate in. Okay, motion's passed. Okay, next. Minutes. The DPAC minutes of October or November 2021 that were distributed this afternoon be accepted as written. Moved? Anybody, DPAC? Garibaldi, thank you. Seconded, Trish. Is there any discussion? All in favor of accepting the November 18 minutes, please vote in the poll. Great, motion's carried. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Tanya Sargent and I am the current SD42 DPAC chair. I have children at Harry Hoagie and Thomas Haney Secondary. Okay. And for superintendent's report tonight, we have Shannon Derinzi in for Harry Dillon. Shannon?
Hi, thank you. Good evening. Thanks for having me. I'm going to focus virtually all of my presentation around our back to school COVID response. So to begin with, I'd really like to say how pleased we were to welcome back the students on January 10th. I know they got a little longer Christmas break than was anticipated, but it was wonderful to see them all back and getting settled back into school. I also really want to acknowledge the significant challenge that students, families, staff are experiencing in this current wave of the pandemic. Since the return to school, we have seen higher than average student absences, higher than average staff absences, and we are hoping that this is coming to an end and will begin to improve over the coming weeks. I know everyone has their own experiences, stories, and challenges with this. So I would like to extend our sincere thanks to students and parents for following all of the enhanced measures that have been put in place, as well as extending our thanks to you for your support during this especially challenging experience. I would also really like to acknowledge the loyalty and dedication of all school district staff in all positions as we endeavor to keep schools open during a period of significant staffing shortages. We are deploying all available staff to fill absences to avoid as best as possible a functional closure of a school. Again, we extend our deepest gratitude to all of our school district staff. It's been challenging. In terms of the absent patterns, our students' absence average across our elementary and secondary schools has crept up somewhat since the return on January 10th. Monday, January 10th was a 20% absence rate. By Friday, it was 27%. This week, Monday was 24%, and today was 26%. So, and these rates vary somewhat from school to school. Attendance reports by school and grades are provided daily to the Ministry of Education and our medical health officer for reviews. So every day we send in these absences. No further direction has been issued by the MHO to date. With respect to staff absences, as with student absences, as in the case of every sector, we are experiencing significantly higher than average staff absences across all positions. Again, we are deploying all available staffing resources to cover absences in our school. Every effort is being made to avoid having to move to a functional closure of a school. And we have a team that meets every morning at 7:30, every evening at 5 o'clock, and every Sunday at 7 to see what do our absences look like, who can we move around to keep our schools open. And just for clarification, a functional closure of a school is the temporary closure of a school determined by the school district due to a lack of staff to provide the required level of teaching, supervision, support, and/or custodial staff to ensure the health and safety of students. And the decision rests with the superintendent of schools in consultation with the medical health officer. So sadly, a functional closure of a school or schools remains a possibility. However, we are hoping to see both student and staff absences decline over the coming weeks. And as you all know, we have a professional development day on Monday. So we're hoping that might provide a little bit of relief to the system. One additional thing that I'd like to clarify that you might have been reading about in the papers, on January 17th, an order of the provincial health officer was issued titled School Staff Vaccination Reporting. There has been quite a bit of confusion over this order. This order is what is called a passive order. This order simply gives the medical health officer the authority to direct a school district to obtain proof of vaccination from staff. This order has not been enacted in our school district by the medical health officer. And I'd like to also introduce my colleague that's on this call with me today, Amanda Reber. She's our Manager of Health and Safety, and she's going to provide just a little bit of an overview of current guidelines from the BCCDC around close contacts and isolation. So I'll turn it over to Amanda.
Thanks, Shannon. And I echo Shannon's gratefulness for being here tonight with you. I just want to go over some of the highlights that the BCCDC is changing. It seems very fluid right now, so we don't want to get into too much putting together too many packages because things are changing. So I'll just kind of go over some of the things that have recently come to light. So when we're looking at close contacts now, in the event that your child or your colleague is identified as a close contact, the self-isolation rules no longer apply at this time, according to the BC CDC. So basically what we're all expected to do is to monitor ourselves for illness, make sure that we stay home when we're sick, is basically what it boils down to. Another change that they made on the website last night is the requirements for self-isolation periods if you do test positive for COVID or your child test positive for COVID. Basically, anybody under the age of 18 that has not been vaccinated actually can now self-isolate for 5 days, and then they must meet three conditions. One of them is that they no longer have a fever. The other is that they've isolated for 5 days and their symptoms have resolved mostly. And the third is that, the third. I got to go back to my notes here. And the third, symptoms have improved. So basically, your children under the age of 18 will now only have to self-isolate for the 5 days as long as they meet that criteria if they test positive for COVID. Now, it's a different ball game when it comes to people that are over 18 and are unvaccinated. They must meet those 3 conditions as well as self-isolate for 10 days. So again, there was some confusion in the media this morning because there were some changes that were done Tuesday night, Wednesday night. So finally, this is what we have updated. The other big item that the BC CDC is reinforcing now are new guidelines for childcare providers. Before they were giving mass self-isolation notifications to the entire childcare facility. Now they have specific guidance. They will only be given that notifications from Fraser Health if there is an larger than exposure event, so an activity that may close the daycare from provincial health is the only way that they will all have to self-isolate. For now, it's just, again, if you're sick, stay home, self-monitor, make sure you're doing your daily health check and talking to your son or daughter or child about whether or not they're feeling okay before going to school. And for now, that is the updates from the BC CDC. I'm sure we will endeavor to hear more by the weekend, and we will always try to keep everybody up to date through the parent portal link, and as well as updating through, a lot of times Harry will send out a message to parents. So that is it for the updates from that. I can turn it over to the next speaker.
Thanks. So that is our thanks, Amanda. That is our presentation. We thought we'd stay with COVID. I don't know if we could try to take a few questions if anybody has them. Not sure we'll have the answers, but we'll do our best.
Does anybody have any questions? No? I don't see. Nope. Doesn't look like.
No, thanks.
Great explanation then.
Yeah.
That would be easy.
Thank you very much, Shannon and
Okay.
Amanda.
Thank you. I'm going to say goodnight because I go to bed at 8.
Have a good sleep.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye. Thank you very much. Up next, we have from the school board, we have Chairperson Corleen Carreras.
Actually, Trustee Kim Dumore is doing the presentation this evening,
Oh,
so I'll pass it over to Trustee Dumore.
Hi, good evening, everybody. It's so nice to be at DPAC. I haven't had the privilege of being here in quite some time, so I'm excited to be back at home. I feel like this is home for me. Just a couple things to report on based on our board meeting last evening. One being the school growth plans came to the board last evening, and it's an opportunity for the principals of our schools to work alongside staff and create a growth plan for each and every school. A lot of themes that came out of the growth plans this year, some being belonging, equity, diversity, mental health, anti-racism, and a lot of emphasis on learning losses due to the pandemic, and also literacy as a target for many schools. So these school growth plans are available on your school's website, and they should probably be there shortly. And I encourage you to have a look at it and bring it back to your PACs and have conversations at those tables, because it's really excellent to kind of see the goals for your school and the vision, I would say. So the next thing that we discussed at our meeting last evening was our draft facilities plan, and that is coming back to the public for consultation in early February, pretty quick, and I encourage you to take a look at it. It's a very big document. It was a lot of work, and thank you to everybody that participated in the first stages of the process. Now is an opportunity to have a look and see what the recommendations have been, and I provide some more input into those recommendations. And the third thing I would report on is budget season is upon us, and we're going to be starting the budget season process February 2nd. And of course, we look to the DPAC and the PACs and parents in the community to provide your input on what worked in last year's budget, what didn't work for you, and provide input for this year's budget consultation. So please, if you have time and you'd like to participate in that, we very much value your input into that. And the last thing I would report on is congratulations to Yenadin School for being selected as part of the Active School Transportation Pilot Project. That's exciting to have one of our schools selected out of the 12 new schools for that project for this year. So that's all I have. Unless someone has a question, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions for Trustee Newmore?
I had a question, if that's okay.
Yep.
You said that the input is valued from parents about what worked and didn't work and for the budget. How would somebody get involved with that if they wanted to?
Yeah, absolutely. And the DPAC is always asked for a submission, and the DPAC does make a presentation to the board on behalf of all the parents. So the DPAC, I would imagine, is going to be reaching out to the schools and the PACs to receive their information with regards to the budget process.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Yep. There'll be an email coming out shortly. Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much, Trustee Newmore.
You're welcome.
And next up is MRTA. Do we have?
Hi, that's Trevor. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep it short and sweet. Mostly I'm just here. I thought a relevant focus would be the Omicron and the functional closures and trying to keep schools open. And just sort of give an update on where we are. Really happy that we haven't had to have a functional closure yet. I want to say thanks to the parents, have been supportive of teachers in an incredibly difficult time and a lot of different pressures put on them. And I'm very happy to report that despite the extraordinary pressures, all of the teachers have rallied around the need for extraordinary measures to keep schools running. And so, it's a very fluctuating situation, lots of moving parts. And so I think the adaptability of what the teachers have been willing to endure for the last while, trying to keep these schools open, is pretty extraordinary. And I do appreciate the parents who have had that recognition of how impactful that is. I mean, pretty much every available person is pulled and covering whatever needs to be covered to keep the schools open. And so, have the prep time, the support teachers, the counseling, the library, all of them are doing what they can to cover other people's classes and shortages. And so because of that, I think, it would be easy for teachers to get very frustrated with all of those adjustments daily, and helping teachers for the district and everything else like that, all having to really just fill in whatever gaps are created by the shortages in staffing. And the unfortunate thing is because of the 5 days in isolation and the number of people staying away sick, it's a significant impact. So I think I hope people bounce back after these extraordinary weeks. It's there's not a lot of capacity and resiliency left in teachers. So I was really worried about how they would do with one more major adjustment. But every time I've reached out, I've heard the same message. We understand it's all hands on deck. And so a lot of the teachers are, all of the teachers are recognizing that this is a pretty extraordinary time and trying to keep the best spirits possible in a pretty unique situation with, realistically, a lot of what they're ordinarily doing having to be pulled and covering other classes. So I hope these weeks are done soon and we can go back to something of normal. I worry a little bit about the well-being of all the teachers in a couple of weeks when we go back to normal. I hope it's not like that time when you get a cold after you've had the moments and weeks of stress where it's like, whew, now I can relax and go back to normal. And then you kind of deal with all that you haven't been. But it has been a pretty sustained onslaught for the teachers. And so kind of coming back through Christmas break, realizing it would be different. Not a lot had the most relaxing Christmas break. So anything, we love you parents and the support that the DPAC has for them. And we do appreciate that they've recognized that parents too are recognizing the extraordinary pressures put on teachers during this time. So if you do get a chance to say thanks to any teacher, we'd love it because they're pretty stressed out right now. So thanks.
Thank you very much, Trevor. That was actually one thing that was mentioned today in our meeting with the superintendent, Harry and Dylan and Shannon Durenzi, is that if the PAC is going to make an effort at any time to recognize and appreciate your teachers, now would be fantastic. They are spread so thin, and I can't even imagine the stress they're under right now. Every day you wake up, am I sick today? And how many kids are going to be there? And it's changing. And then you have parents, oh, can you send home work? And it's like, well, I don't know, really. It's kind of hard to prepare because how long you're going to be gone for. And it's hard. It's really, really hard for our teachers right now. And they do so much for our kids and for our families and our community in general. So if PACs want to do anything to represent right now, that would be fantastic. They would most welcome that.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, carrying on. Thank you. And Jason, is Jason here today?
No, Jason's not here today, but
We have Yvonne.
Yvonne Desibray, Lisette, and Kim Plumridge are also.
Oh, perfect.
I would like to, first of all, I'd like to raise my hands and acknowledge the honor that it is to be able to attend this particular meeting for the first time. And I also wanted to share that I have so much respect for everybody who is being so diligent with everything that's in place right now. So I raise my hands to each and every one of us because we are in this together. And I'm grateful that everyone is working so hard together to get through this and supporting each other. some of the updates. Unfortunately, Jason could not be here. The couple things I would touch base on are some of the action things that our QPBC is taking part in, and that is the childcare before and after school. They are teaming and supporting that with the government. So there will be actions, I believe, that they're working towards. There's also the acknowledgement that there's plans for including Indigenous members on executive and boards to enhance, to go along with the work that's being done to include the Indigenous at the tables, especially when it comes to things about Indigenous pieces. What else was there? Definitely, I myself would like to give thanks to the custodian members, as they have worked diligently and very hard, like all have, to keep our schools safe and clean. What else? Basically, the biggest thing is to definitely give thanks for all the hard work that everybody is doing. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Lisette or Kim?
Hi, everyone. Yes, something else that QP is trying to lobby with the government is to improve the access to better internet services in the north. Due to this global situation that we have, having a reliable internet has become a must. It's not a luxury anymore. And we have seen it when a school had to be delivered online. Not every single student had access to reliable internet in the north of the province. So CUPE is trying to lobby with the government to have better services up north. And same as Yvonne, I would like to say thank you as well to the rest of CUPE staff. We are in the same situation as the teachers. We are spreading ourselves very, very thin with absences and all what's happening. I can see in the offices at the schools, staff is getting so overwhelmed, and it's working, spreading themselves very, very thin. Supported staff is the same situation. So I would say thank you when parents understand all the challenges that we are facing in the schools.
Thank you, Lisette. So again, I'd like to say thank you for allowing us to join the meeting and have a voice. And I raise my hands to each and every one of us who are muddling through this as best as we can. I wish you all the best for safety and health, and let's do this. Hi, hi. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, next.
And Tanya, if I might
Yep.
quickly, and just a reminder to parents, especially for whatever reason that your child will not be attending school. Just remember that you can book that on portal. It is very helpful to the school staff that it's booked on portal, cuts down on phone calls and emails. Please try, I know it's easy to forget, try to remember to book it on a portal so the staff don't have to try and contact people to find out if their child is actually supposed to be at school or not. So remember, you can book them on portal, you can book them in advance, you can book numerous days, you can book, if you just pull it up on portal, you can see the absences. So it's really helpful for our staff in the office, if you're able, for all parents to book those absences on portal. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks. Yeah, if you're going on a presumed positive right now, just book your all 5 days at once. It's so much easier and you don't have to worry about it again. I know that's what I was doing. So next we have, we don't have Grant or Chad here, I don't think. Do we? No. Okay. Treasurer's report. Coming up is Paulina. No. I didn't see her sign in.
No, Paulina is not here. She's at a different PAC meeting tonight.
Okay. So I will read the treasurer's report. Currently in our gaming account as of December 31st, 2021, we have $6,480.60. And in our general account, $5,814.38. Gives us a total of $12,294.98. Is there any questions regarding the treasurer's report? No? Okay. Old business. PAC 101-201 workshop. It is now available on our YouTube channel. We also have a link here. It'll be in the PowerPoint PDF, and the links will be there. And Chris, did you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I could just say that we did that in October. It's successful. It'll remain on the YouTube channel with the PowerPoint presentation, so anybody can review that. If there's anything further that they'd like to see or have something smaller, we can do that as well. And also a reminder that BCC PAC is putting on a PAC A to Z presentation on February the 10th at 7 p.m. So if anybody would like to register, I think they've got almost 200 people that are registered. It's across the province, but I'll put the link, the registration link in the chat here as well. So that's coming up as well, information for PACs and parents.
Great, thanks, Chris. Okay, registration info session. It was our first one this year. From what I understand, it was quite successful. I know I've given a link a few times on social media when I've seen questions from some panicky first-time parents regarding choice and catchments and everything else. So it is also available. I know sibling registration started yesterday, was it? Or choice. One of the two started on yesterday. And so it is still available on our YouTube channel as well. The childcare engagement sessions, Chris?
Yeah, those are conducted across the province with the numerous sessions in November and December. I believe that they are closed for now, and we're waiting for the results of some of that, but it was more information, mostly from childcare providers with questions from parents as to what that was going to look like for when, and it's a 5 to 10 year plan with what do you call it now, the global childcare that's going to be coming. So more information is going to be coming. It's going to be a slow process, slow rollout, and Ministry of Childcare is working closely with MCFD and other partner groups, including childcare providers, and that to make that successful in the next coming years.
Thank you. And our next slide. New business. MOE, Ministry of Education Emergency Management Planning Guide. We have a link there. I believe that is in response to the discussion surrounding emergency supplies supplied by PACs or schools or the district, or whose budget item is it. I was not present at the last meeting, but I do know this was discussed. Is there anybody who'd like to speak to that now under new business? No? Okay. So we do have a draft of the strategic facilities plan that is now available on the district website. So that is there for review, and that would be what schools are expanding, what schools are being built, what land is being purchased, looking to the way future and everything else, and what just needs a good renovation and freshening. So that would all be under the strategic facilities plan, and it is population growth based. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Chris?
Oh, sorry. I've got a number of screens here I'm trying to flip through.
No problem.
Yeah, that's about right. Just for the grade 8 information night.
Yep.
Yeah, so that is coming up. We have already exceeded our registrations, our max registrations. We have room for maybe a couple more. We're hoping that if anyone cannot make the grade 8 registration for the Zoom portion, that they cancel the registration and we can let some other people in. Reminder to any principals that you do need to register to access the Zoom portion. We still have some principals that haven't registered yet, so we've left room for them to get in. But it is being broadcast live as well on the YouTube channel, on our DPAC YouTube channel. And so everybody else that can't get into the Zoom portion will still be able to watch and participate and ask questions through the comments and chat on the in the DPAC YouTube channel. So that's coming up on January 27th. At 7 p.m. On Zoom and on YouTube.
Thank you, Chris. Next slide. Open discussion. We are having a quick one this evening. We are already at our end with our open discussion. Is there any questions? Anything anybody would like to discuss? No? Wow. Okay. So yep, next Thursday is grade 8 registration info night. Oh,
Mike has a question.
Trustee Murray.
Sorry, needed to unmute myself. It's not actually a question. I just wanted to add that the facilities plan is not just about facilities. We always begin with a question, where is education going and what educational needs are there in the district that perhaps haven't been met? And that's an important place to start from because form follows function. So we're really wanting to think about our students' educational needs first, and then identify the facility requirements that can help us to address those. So do have a look at that plan, not only from the perspective of new buildings and additions and that sort of thing, but also some of the educational foundations that are referenced in there. It's an important aspect of that. I've often wanted to see it called an education and facilities plan, but never seems to make it into the title, but it is about that as well. Tanya, you're muted.
Thank you. We have a question here from Blair at Alouette. She's wondering if any schools are doing hot lunches. I don't believe anybody is. I believe the ones that could even get away with it have even kind of slowed it down.
Sorry,
yeah.
actually, we are doing one at Albion Elementary tomorrow.
Okay.
Through Subway, everything is pre-packed and sent over.
Yeah.
So we have them scheduled throughout the rest of the school year, actually.
Subway?
Yes, through a local franchisee, and it was very easy to organize, and everything is individually wrapped with the student's name on it. So there's nothing to it.
Subway's like the easiest hot lunch there is.
Yes, it is. It really is.
They organize it by division, everything.
Yes. So, and we had a lot of excitement from it too. We got so many orders.
Yeah. Has anybody done any organized acknowledgement for teachers or staff? She's also wondering. Anyone? Chris?
Before the, this is a while ago now, but I think when can't remember when, maybe there's a year ago, it's all, COVID is a blur. But what I did at our school, most of the staff know me from the school, and a number of the kids know me from the school from when I was able to go there. And what I did is I just did an audio recording that I emailed to the principal, and they played it over the PA. And what I did is I got the kids to acknowledge on behalf of parents who couldn't come into the school, and I sort of did a little bit of a script. So if anybody would like that, I can probably have to be updated, but I can certainly forward that on. And basically just getting the kids on behalf of parents to thank teachers. Maybe I think I don't want to put Jody on the spot, but I think she might have been there when we did that. Yeah, just a way to get the kids to acknowledge on behalf of parents, thank you. And that's kind of what we did. So it's not anything flashy or exciting, but I hope that that it meant something, that we were able to do that. And it doesn't have to be long. You just record it on your computer and send it, and they just play it on the loudspeaker.
Great, thanks, Chris. Even if you, I mean, things like it's hard because I mean, trying to share stuff is not really that great right now. Nobody really wants to share. So even if you can find snacks that are like pre-wrapped, that would probably be greatly appreciated, is like pre-wrapped snacks in the staff room for them. That would probably be a huge win. Or like the take 12 type thing from Tim's of coffee, stuff like that. We did a lunch truck for the staff and teachers. We've also done individually wrapped cookies and $5 gift cards as thank yous. So that's a great idea too from Glenwood. So kind of think what you usually do at the end of the school year that was COVID friendly, and do it now. So I think that would be a great suggestion. Is there anything? Oh, and I saw Kanaka asked, was there any decisions made regarding the emergency kits? Anyone?
I can speak to it if you like. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it's all laid out in the document that was put up by the Ministry of Education. The link was in there before, and it is a responsibility of school district. There's WorkSafe BC. Long time ago, who knows when, PACS made the decision to purchase these items, which is fine, and somehow there became, I guess, an unsaid expectation by parents or schools or whatever that it was a PACS responsibility. PACS exist under the School Act, and there was never an intention for PACS to pay for this stuff. There was never an intention for PACS to organize for this stuff. There is some discussions going on as to what kind of things are going into the school, but there is no, at the provincial level for sure, there is no obligation or expectation that PACS purchase these items. And PACS do have to remember that whatever items that you purchase, unless it's something that is for a PAC specifically, like a popcorn machine or something like that, that is, everybody knows belongs to the PAC. Anything like basketballs or emergency equipment or any of those things, once they go into the school, they belong to the school and the school district. So PAC can fund some of these things, but they no longer, that they don't own them once they go into the school. And we saw that at the beginning of the pandemic, when those supplies were used for other reasons. So it is important to remember. But yeah, there is no expectation or obligation for PACS to pay for any of that.
Thanks, Chris. Is there anything else? Okay. Can I have someone move we adjourn? Katie, Garibaldi, Leah. There we go. Seconded. Any discussion? Okay, and agenda adjournment. Here we go. If You want to go ahead and vote in that? Okay, all in favor, and meeting is adjourned at 7:47. Thank you, everyone.